All right, everyone. Welcome to our Module 5 live session. It's 7:30, so we're going to start and go ahead and get started. I realize people are still coming in, but I just want to make sure to respect everyone's time, so we'll get started. As we get started, I just want to do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you all see the PowerPoint that's up? All right, thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Brittany. All right, tonight's agenda will be as follows. We're gonna, so welcome everybody to the Module 5 live session. Tonight we will be reviewing journal assignment expectations, important dates. We'll be doing some introductions. We'll check in and reflect on how the course is going. Reflection and critical thinking questions from Chapter 8. And we will discuss the 6 principles for engaging families in an effective way. And then at the end, you will have time to ask any questions. And then hopefully I could get back that feedback to you either tonight or tomorrow or even tonight. You guys will also view the live session. You can view the live session on YouTube or on the WebEx if you need additional resources. So I want to jump in tonight and talk about journal expectations. So your reflection assignment will be graded based on the quality of the information you include from all of the 4 topics that were presented through Module 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is worth 50% of the assignment grade. Not 50% of your total grade, but 50% of the assignment grade. 12% of your total grade are on journal assignments. You're going to review your entries from all 4 weeks and then do further research and add any additional information as necessary. As a reminder, your journal should be 1 document with each entry starting on a new page. They should include the module it was assigned in a title. Each of the entries should be a minimum of 1 page typed and double-spaced. And it can be formatted in a bullet list or other creative format. This assignment, last week I gave you the wrong information. I said that it doesn't need to be an APA format, but it actually does, looking at the content. So make sure that you guys have that title page for each one. And then, like I said, the journal assignment is worth 12% of your overall grade. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm almost done. Mom.
So if nobody has any other questions, I will go on to the important due dates. So 5 assignments are due: your discussion post, your written assignment, exploration assignment, live session, reflection, and a journal assignment. All assignments, aside from the discussion, are due on Sunday, September 10th by 11:59 Central Standard Time. 10% of the assignment grade is deducted for each day that the assignment is late, but make sure to, even if you're late, it's better to be late than never getting it in, because 10 points each day does add up. Assignments are not accepted more than 7 days late. Brittany has a question live session. Does that apply to us that have attended? No. Anybody have any other questions? The course does end next Friday, September 15th. Module 6 has only one assignment, exploration assignment, which is due Friday, September 15th by 11:59 Central Standard Time. After the 15th, there will be I won't be able to accept any assignments. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to move on. So, like every week that you guys have been on here, we would like to just do a little, it's always nice to hear a little hello from everyone present at our session. As you guys all know, my name is Mike and I live in Colorado. I have a master's degree in early childhood education. One of my favorite things to play as a child was hide and go seek with my cousins and my brother and sister. I grew up on a rural farm in northeastern North Dakota, so there were plenty of places to hide, and we could play for hours with our farmstead. So now I'm going to just briefly invite you guys to introduce yourself, either on chat or if you want to share through audio, that's fine either way.
Hey guys, I'm Nicole. I'm from Texas. I'm trying to get my associates in child development because I love spending my days with children. And my favorite thing to play, I would say, was maybe Duck Duck Goose. I like to play that outside at my grandma's house because she would let us run around crazy and my mom would never let us do that.
Nicole, were you affected by the hurricane at all?
We got a bunch of rain and wind and a couple of power outages here and there, but thankfully that's all we got.
That's good. I know there's a couple people from our class that has been affected by it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you are safe.
Thanks. I know in Houston it's really bad still.
Where are you located in Texas?
I'm in San Antonio.
Okay. Is it still pretty hot out there?
The weather is kind of weird lately. It's like we actually are having a fall right now. It's breezy and windy outside.
Yeah, we kind of got a cold front here in Colorado in the last couple of days, but it's starting to warm back up again. But fall is definitely coming.
Yeah, and it's just weird because in San Antonio, it's usually always summertime.
You guys don't get snow down there, huh?
No. I am going to be 23 years old, and I've only seen snow one time, and that was on the way to Vegas.
Oh, boy. Well, if you come up to Colorado, you'll see snow in the winter in the mountains.
That sounds so pretty.
It is. It's pretty out here. Well, welcome, Nicole. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you sharing on audio. I don't know if anybody could see the chat, but Brittany shared. She is from Appleton, Wisconsin. She's in early childhood with special needs. She likes to ride bikes with her brother. Favorite thing to do for Letitia, welcome Letitia, was to play double Dutch. Ooh, I've never heard of that before. Can you explain a little bit what double Dutch is, Letitia? Letitia said it's just like jump rope. Thank you for sharing, guys. So I am going to move back on to the next PowerPoint slide. So how is your class going so far? What are your reactions from the module, this week's module? Anything that jumped out at you?
I kind of feel like what we're learning right now, every child care provider should have to learn.
Oh, nice. Why do you think that, Nicole?
I just think in child care centers, there's a whole lot of good communication with children, like the teachers communicating with their class. But I think all across the board, it could be better talking to, you know, the parents and their other teachers.
Yes, definitely. There's definitely a lot of skills that teachers, you know, need to learn, and I think they develop over time too with just the experience and learning how to talk to parents and how to approach parents and how to have that collaboration with them and your co-workers. And we will talk a little bit about that later. Miss Letitia said it's too much work, or no, Miss Ashley said it's too much work. Yes, it is a lot of work for a 5.5 week course. It is pretty intense with all the information that you guys have to retain and all the writing assignments that you have to do. And I know a lot of you guys this might be your first or second class, and it is a little challenging trying to juggle that and work and family life. I completely get it. It is easier to do one course. I remember when I was in my master's program, I did one course at a time, and kind of like this, it is a lot. It is really, really difficult to keep up with both. But you guys are doing a good job, and I just want to encourage you to hang in there. And you know, you guys are almost done. You guys have what, a week and a half left. I mean, hang in there. I think a week, actually. Yeah, a week and a couple days. So hang in there, you know. Brittany said she'd rather write all these papers than do tests each week. I agree, I don't like tests. I remember back in my undergrad, I did a lot of tests, and I really, really had a hard time trying to decipher multiple choice. I'm just not good at that. But yeah, I encourage you guys. I mean, I take it most of you guys are going to be taking Exploration 2 in your next class. Is that correct?
Yes. Are you going to be our teacher for that too?
I do not think I am going to be your teacher for that class. I teach the exploration, the very first one, and I am not actually teaching the next one. But, you know, I may in the future, but not actually for the next semester. Do you guys all know what your overall grade is? No, yes, yes, good. Great. That's good that you guys all know what your guys' overall grade is. And like I said, you know, if you have something that's late, you know, make sure that you still try to get it in, because, you know, 10% is a lot on your grade. Just want to reiterate that. So I'm going to jump on and go to the next slide. So this week we looked at Chapter 8, and we talked a little bit briefly about community within our centers, and then how we had some reflection questions and critical thinking skills from Chapter 8 that you guys were supposed to come prepared with. So on question 3, important qualities needed to be good collaborators and communicators. Which ones are the easiest for you guys? I know for myself, my easiest is to listen and then provide feedback better for a better understanding. A lot of times I ask a lot of questions because I simply don't know, and in order for me to understand and process, I ask those questions, and it does make a great way to understand someone's logic. I know in the book it talked a little bit about acknowledging and paraphrasing and reflecting, questioning and crediting for difficult situations when you are challenged, and making sure that, you know, you shake your head, you acknowledge, you paraphrase by repeating back, and then reflect on it, and then question if you have any questions, and then keep asking the hows and why questions, and then, you know, crediting the, you know, whoever you're talking to by sharing his or her side of the story. Another couple things that stood out to me is, you know, we were talking about qualities, important qualities needed to be for good collaborators. The book states continually reflecting on professional practice and on their experience in collaboration, accepting the challenge and complex goals and joint endeavors. And then it gave you kind of some field notes about good collaborators at work and what that looks like. Do you guys know what's the easiest ones for you to demonstrate, either at work with parents or with coworkers, and which ones are the most difficult, and can you explain why?
I know in my class, since I work with babies, they can't really tell me new things about them or when their feeding schedules change, so I spend a lot of my time in the mornings asking a bunch of questions when their parents drop them off.
And what kind of questions do you ask them?
You know, I ask things like, oh, you know, if they start eating pureed baby food, I always ask, like, oh, which one has he tried? Does he like that one? Or does he like it with his rice cereal or no rice cereal? Does he like to eat it warm? for just room temperature.
Good, good. And then sometimes, you know, I know some parents have scheduled nap times that I know teachers are supposed to follow. I don't know if that is something that you actually deal with or not, Nicole, in yours. Center.
No, not really. My babies kind of just sleep when they're tired.
Yeah.
I do have some parents that prefer us to not put them to sleep. Like if it's after like 5, they prefer if they just stay up, which I understand because I guess they want them to go to sleep when they go home too.
Do you think that's best practice?
I always try to not to, you know, if they don't want us to, but if the child has been there from, I don't know, say 7 and it's 5:30 and they're still there, they're probably going to need that nap. And I usually just go ahead and put them to nap, and I explain to the parents that they've been there for a long time and, you know, they've been playing all day and the afternoon nap is kind of necessary.
Sure, sure. And then when you do greet the parents, Nicole, do you know your parents' names? I know one of the biggest things of making positive impressions is, you know, acknowledging them by making an effort to try to remember their names and, you know, and being positive, and, you know, not prolonging the conversation, but trying to make sure that you understand what their expectations are of you for their child.
Yeah, if I know their names, I'll call them, you know, Miss or Mr., whatever their name is. And if I don't, I usually call them by, like, you know, I'll say, like, oh, hey, Mom, I needed to talk to you about whatever I have to say.
30 minutes.
Nice. And that's a good way to approach it. Anybody else have anything else to say along those lines of important qualities needed to be a good collaborator and communicator? Does Brittany or Letitia or Ashley have anything else to say? All right, if nobody has anything else to say, we're going to go to the other reflection and critical thinking question from Chapter 8. It's question 4 regarding Joseph and Kristen's story. I don't know, first of all, did everybody get a chance to read that?
I haven't read that yet.
Okay. I encourage you guys to read it, or I could read it to you, if you would prefer. So I'm going to read actually, just so you guys have a grasp, one of the 2 questions or case scenarios regarding Joseph or Kristen. I'm going to actually do Joseph, just so you guys could participate in the questions that I would like to ask as far as what could teachers or administrators do to make their experience more positive.
Evelyn, can you bring me that box and that cord, please?
So this one is called Why the Parents Don't Come.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
So this is a true story. as recalled by Joseph, an American Indian who attended elementary school in the 1970s. His experiences are certainly not universal and unlikely to happen today. However, his story illustrates the ways in which children
No, not that one. Plug that one back in.
stay with them for many years to come and can influence their attitudes and into adulthood. The teachers and principal of the local elementary school are puzzled and concerned.
Yes.
They have done everything they can think of to entice the parents of their American Indian children to conferences, meetings, and special events. Virtually no one shows up. Joseph, an American Indian father of a kindergarten child, could tell them why and hoped to in the near future. As soon as he can convince his wife that she needs to come to answer the school's questions, Joseph needs to tell them about his own experience. It was in the early 1970s, the summer before he entered first grade, that the tribal school was torn down and nearly 100 children were transferred to the district's public schools. Joseph was assigned to the school his daughter now attends. On the day school began, he and his friends took their first ride in a school bus to their first ever school experience. Arriving at the school, the older children knew to go straight into the building. Joseph and his first grade friends, uncertain about what to do, noticed the nearby playground equipment and ran to it with a great glee. Within 5 minutes, the principal emerged from the building, yelled angrily at them, and led them inside, a couple of boys by their ears. Joseph was terrified and overwhelmed. Within a few months, 70 out of the 100 children had been placed in special education classes. Even at the age of 6, Joseph knew that many did not deserve to be placed there. A number of the boys fell asleep in class because they had been out fishing the night before with their fathers. The girls, too shy to speak up in class, chatted about their schoolwork during recess on the playground. Joseph also remembers a disparity in the classroom discipline. Girls could chatter endlessly in class and never be called out. If two Indian boys began to talk to each other, they would be paddled or sent home. Today, Joseph still feels fortunate that he wasn't sent to special education classes. Although he initially was confused by most of what went on, how, for example, could someone look at that big round object on the wall and tell what time it was? What were shapes, letters, numbers anyway? As he looks back on the first grade experience, Joseph knows that many of the 70 children did not belong in special education, or they would not now be in the midst of a successful adulthood. He himself holds graduate degrees and is dedicated to helping today's Indian children gain school success. Joseph knows, too, why parents are decidedly unfound memories of their early schooling don't want to revisit the scene of their unhappiness. He has described the trip from the reservation to public school as trip to a foreign country. Although Joseph is aware that the opening scene with the principal wouldn't happen today and that his daughter's school committed to all children, he wonders if he will have the courage to tell the school why the parents are reluctant to come. Perhaps his wife can help. So, after reading that, what's your thoughts on that? How could the administrator make Joseph's experience better? I mean, in today's society, if we did that in early childhood setting, you probably would not have a job. And you probably would not work with children ever again. So, what's your guys' thoughts on this?
That is a sad story. I think they could have taken time to get to know the different culture of the kids that were going to be coming into their school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit more about that, Nicole.
I just think every culture, obviously it has its differences, you know, maybe those kids that were falling asleep, you know, they were out fishing because that's what children did, you know, and I don't think they should have maybe got in trouble. I think maybe the teacher or the administrator could have, you know, maybe sat down and talked with their parents and let them know that if they're up all night, they're going to be missing valuable school learning time.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Letitia said the administration had no idea what they were doing back then. It was a different society, a different culture, and a different time in our history with education, and it has been, you know, changing through the decades. Brittany said a calm voice, a little bit more understanding to the children. I completely agree. You know, back then it was kind of cut and dry, it seems like. I heard stories about when my dad was back in school, and that was way before then, and it was pretty intense. You know, too often the parents whose memories of school are not positive, who do not appear for conferences and other events despite the school's best efforts. I mean, you're always going to get those parents that don't want to go to conferences, want to shy away, and you know, a lot of that, they have bad memories of what has happened. Some parents are just too tired. Some are too shy. Some are too insecure. Some are intimidated. And then you also have that English barrier too. I mean, some people are insecure of how well they talk in English. But, you know, on the occasion, parents may be that the parents are truly, I think the parents do truly care about their kids' education, but they just don't know, or they have some memories of how to bridge that relationship. And it was just Joseph's suggestion that the caregivers and teachers reach out to their children's parents and family members. You know, once parents have their confidence in their relationship with the teacher, they may feel encouraged to visit their children's school. And, you know, that's why it's really important to make those positive first impressions with your parents and the children that we take care of. You know, having that eye contact, that smile, that handshake, you know, making the efforts of remembering names, clear speeches, you know, being positive, being pleasant, being aware, appropriate social distance, you know. I think there's a bunch of things that we can do to make the parents feel welcomed. Does anybody have anything else to add to along those notes? I know in the first field experience, the field study about Kristen's story, it was about a girl. I'm not going to read the whole field notes. Sorry, my dog's in the background. Sorry for that noise. Anyways, Kristen's story was she was a teenage lady who got pregnant and wanted to go to school and basically didn't have childcare or anything. Didn't have childcare for her baby, and one of her teachers helped her, mentor her, and was really positive.
I don't want to hear you about complaining about her.
Really positive about keeping the child with him when he was.
I can't hear you.
So, you know, it's really, you know.
You should go brush your teeth right now.
I guess with that story, you know, you never judge a parent because you really can't really understand their life and their upbringing or their culture. And, you know, like I have been saying, what you can do is be positive and support and keep on reaching out and provide assistance where they need, you know, where is needed. I did think that the mentor did an excellent job in aiding and providing the support for those resources for Kristen in the situation. And then, you know, she actually went to school and she actually became a doctor. She got her doctorate degree. But you know, it's just like in life, we go through these roadblocks, and you know, in marathons, it's hitting the wall, and then thinking you want to give up, but you know, and just quit. But you know, as long as you have those good intentions and making sure that you're positive morale, will go a long way with you if you take that into consideration with the parents and making sure, and children, and making sure that you're doing what's best for children and what's best for parents to collaborate the ultimate goals of the child. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? All right, if nobody has any questions, we are going to move on to the 6 principal lectures or supplement readings from the video. Does anybody, so first of all, I guess I'll start out with in the NAYC's Principles of Effective Practice for Family Engagement outlines 6 principles for engaging families in an effective way. So there's programs invite families to participate in decision making and goal setting for their child. Teachers and programs engage in two-way communication. The other 4 include Principle 3, programs and teachers engage families in ways that are truly reciprocal. Programs provide learning activities for the home and in the community. Principle 5, programs invite families to participate in program-level decisions and wider advocacy efforts. Programs, and then the last one is programs implement a comprehensive program-level system. Does anybody want to share of what the 6 principles looks like and how you would apply that to your practice, to your teaching practice? I mean, I could start out and tell you a little bit about when I was a preschool teacher. My two-way communication took place from the beginning by sitting down with the families and asking them how they want to receive communication, which I'm touching up on Principle 2. You know, a lot of parents, just like you guys, some of you guys receive communication through email better. Some like to hear through online. Some do text messages. Some do through over the phone. I mean, there's just different ways of communicating.
Wait, go brush your teeth. I'm almost done.
And asking your parents how you receive communication is the best way possible to start a positive relationship with them. But you know, having those having the two-way communication taking place at the beginning is crucial. So when I worked with parents, I try to learn about their child before they begin class, and I don't know if that is possible in your guys' education programs, your facilities, if you guys have the opportunity to actually meet the parent and meet the child before they actually come into the classroom. But I would promote that as best practice. And so basically I would do that. And what I would do is I would develop the best strategy for the transition into the classroom to meet the children's individual needs by meeting with the parent right away, so we're both on the same page. It is also important to be aware of each parent's, like I said, form of communication in order for the lines of communication to be inviting and open. I know when I was teaching preschool, we would do these daily sheets about what the kid ate and how their day went and when they took a nap, from how long, and just different things of how their day went. But I also try to give feedback to the parents by talking to them. And if they didn't have time to talk, I would either text a picture of their child having fun and learning and doing something, or else set up a conference when they have time. If it's a phone conference or it's an in-person conference, just to try to meet their needs the best way. For like principal, for the principal too, that's pretty much what that's kind of how I would engage families in the two-way communication. Now I kind of want to hear from you guys. What do you guys do to support these principles?
In my classroom, I have a bulletin board that is called the Golden Star Bulletin Board. And my babies are only up to 12 months old, but I have like all their different milestones marked on there, and once they master it, I put a star on it. And when I put a star on it, I make sure to let the parents know, which I guess would be like principal 1, because if they had just started crawling, I also let them know, like, hey, good job that they're crawling, but now we're going to start doing something else. So that way they can kind of help also at home.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, helping all the families support the children as learners is great, and it does start right away at the beginning. Do you share any other families' cultures in your classroom, Nicole? And Leticia and Brittany?
What was that?
What do you do for culture in your classroom, since they are infants?
Yeah.
How do you expose them to that?
What we do is my babies they really, really like music. So I try to put a bunch of different kinds of music. Like it's all, age-appropriate music, but, we might listen to some Spanish kind of music, and maybe we'll play with maracas. And we have a little baby who her parents are from India, and it actually calms her down to listen to the music that her mother brings. She'll actually fall asleep.
I've been fighting with her for 45 minutes.
What the fuck is this?
Tea.
That's a great strategy. Do you have to use a translator for your parents at all? For like meetings or whatnot?
No. Well, I guess kind of. Mom and Dad speak English well enough for me to understand them, but sometimes when I talk to them, they don't really grasp what I'm saying. So we have another teacher who works with the 2-year-olds, and she actually speaks their language. So every now and then I will have her come in my classroom and make sure that
I'm
mom
almost
and dad
done. I have 10 more
understand
minutes,
what I'm
and then I'll
saying.
come in there and give you a hug. It's bedtime, Evelyn.
What are you doing?
Huh? I'm in lecture.
It looks like you're in love.
Oh, that's because I have it on mute, and I've got ear plugged in. I'm on mute.
I thought you're on video chat.
Huh?
I said I thought you're on video.
I am. My video's over there. Right here.
Miss Brittany,
This is
Miss Brittany, you are not on you're not on mute. Thank you. So sorry, Nicole, I think you got cut off.
Oh, I was saying about the translator. Mom and dad, I can understand, they speak well enough English for me to understand them, but sometimes when I talk about like goal settings and things like that, they don't understand me. But we have a 2-year-old teacher at my school who speaks their language, so when I'm gonna actually like sit down and have a conference with them, I just make sure she's there just in case.
That's awesome that you have that support and collaboration to have somebody who speaks the same language as that family. That's great. Now, Ashley, Letitia, and Brittany, is there anything that stands out to you in the 6 principles lecture? In the 6 principles from NACE? So Letitia, you said communication with all teachers. We keep the parents in the loop. What do you do as far as communication for your grades 6 through 8? Why do you think it's hard to get the parents to communicate, especially in the school setting? So it seems like the parents, so Letitia says that her kids are in a behavioral program that's not so good, and it seems that the parents don't care. What steps have you done to reach out to the parents to try to bridge and collaborate them in a positive manner? Ashley said, I also believe communication is extremely important because I don't have experience with working in a child care center, just my daughter, and communicating with family when they have to watch her and her school. So Letitia said the program is great, the parents don't want to be involved. That is sad. I mean, the biggest thing as educators, you know, to do in that situation is just keep on encouraging, keep on teaching, and, you know, advocate for those children. Sometimes that's all we have is us to be their advocate, especially when the parents seem like they give up and they're not really connected with the school or the teachers. So Ashley, you said you believe communication is extremely important. If you were a parent taking your child to a daycare, how would you want to receive communication? So Ashley said, when it comes to my daughter's school, I'm very involved and sometimes think the school gets tired of hearing from me. Text, email, face-to-face, phone to call. Brittany says newsletter or verbal one-on-one communication. Yep, that's all great ways of communicating. Like I said, Letitia said you're the type of parent we like. So yeah, I mean, there's different ways of communicating, and it's really, you know, the best way is to find out how your parents receive communication, because, you know, when you find out how they receive communication, then communicating will be easier and it will be positive for you. I'm going to move on to the very last slide. Do you guys have any questions for me about any of the information, anything that's going on, expectations? If you have any questions, feel free to give me a text, email, a phone call, however you want to communicate to me. I am open and I will try to get back to you. I know my policy says 48 hours. I try to get back to you within 24 hours, especially with the course winding down and knowing that you guys are strapped for time with a lot of assignments that are due. So I want you guys to just make sure that if you need anything or if you have any questions that you contact me, and I hope that you guys will like exploration, the next exploration class, and I basically say good luck in your endeavors and finish strong. So if nobody has any other questions, oh, it looks like Brittany has a question. She says, I see only 4 assignments due, or is the live lecture the 5th? I'll have to go back into the course assignments, Brittany, and email you about, or I could even do a course announcement of what is left in the assignment box, because I do not have that open right now, and I cannot remember off the top of my head. So I will try to do that. Thanks, guys, for being such a great, thanks for being so great and being great participants. I appreciate it. Take care and stay safe, okay, guys?